two E and C, was it? Right in the middle aisle?
E and C.
We look a little funny there, don't we?
Yeah, but off
Ready for Greece?
we don't get our noses.
What is the
Athens.
configuration of this plane? It's a 767 300ER I see on the sheet. We are in business class. We just had our drinks in the lounge. We didn't hear them page us, but not a problem to get our passports revalidated. I didn't take movies of the, what are they doing at home? They're digging up our
gas line?
Our gas line is getting dug up. Well, I wanted to get that in case they're going to have to rip up our driveway, they said, because the gas line comes under our driveway.
They're going to fix it. Actually, I was going to call there a light and see if they can check it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, Foka just said it looks like Greek to me. Sounds like Greek to me. It must be Greece. We are waiting for our fellow Regent passengers to show up in the lobby of Athens. We are going on to the Regent Seven Seas Cruises with this lovely lady here. Where'd she go? There she is. Happy-go-lucky lady. This is the hallway. You've got to see this unbelievable walk-in closet in a cruise ship. Beautifully done.
Oops.
2 levels. And look who's coming here. Here is the madame. We have our tickets for the tour today on the bed.
For a second. It's flying.
Don't worry about it. It's been flying for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but
We're taking a tour to the Acropolis.
Havoc in this world. So that's, and I have the third most popular name in Greece because we all have the same names in this country. Most popular is Mary, Maria, Katerina, Catherine, and Eleni comes third. So if you know the 3 middle names and two girls always have the same
Two ships. There's the Regent in the front.
And we're leaving Piraeus. We will be driving a we will see the other ports of Piraeus because this is a big peninsula with 3 ports. And then we will start on the coastline highway to inform you.
You're not going to cry now, are you?
Teach you about ancient and modern Greece, but if there's
A little sad about the cancellation of the trip.
Otherwise, there's no way I will know.
yeah.
Well, we got 3 round
The
trip.
weather in the back of the bus is
First
different
class.
from the
3
weather.
5-day trip to Greece.
About
3
here.
5 days.
So please
Good
let
food.
me know
3 nights
so
on
I
the
can
boat.
try and do something
Gourmet
about it with the help of my
meals.
driver.
All the drinks were free. Nice tour.
Now we are in the major port of Piraeus. You've docked where the cruise ships dock, the Greek islands. And some of you know that Greece is...
There's the Artemis. Artemis belongs to somebody, right?
Greece is
That's not
tiny.
OAT.
Is this your first Greek
Artemis is
port?
smaller.
No.
Yes? Oh, all right.
Opera.
So 132,000 square kilometers. If you look at the map of Greece, 600 islands and islets. But only 229 are inhabited. Is the Parthenon,
There's the
the most
Parthenon.
important temple ever to be built by the Greeks, the epitome of classical art, the inspiration
Down at this
of
level
Roman
is
architecture,
this
and the
temple of
model
Zeus
for all the amazing
with Corinthian columns. There was 104 columns at one
Think
point.
about it, there's the United States,
there's
Great Britain, Italy,
mountain in the
Germany,
background.
and
Buses
Poland
jostling too
forever
much.
in my list. And then
It's the Chapel of St. George on top of that building, on top of that mountain there. Bouncing around the highest point in Athens.
and war agreement was signed.
This
It's an
is,
ancient Greek colony. Marseille in France is an ancient Greek colony.
stadiums that go
Syracuse is
back
an ancient Greek colony.
100
Libya
years.
coastline, ancient Greek colony.
Well, this is the only marble stadium in the world. This is the 1896, and a stadium we just found out meant 600 feet. And the marathon ran from Marathon, Greece, and ended up here. The marathon still, they have an annual marathon in the quell of the Olympics. Last Olympics here were a few years ago, and we were here, if you look at the old movies, when the Dalmatian coast trip was on. And I'm looking back to see the Parthenon is right there. There's the Parthenon we're going up to give you a location. We're down at the foothills. Folke is doing her thing, hiding behind the music boxes. That's your silly mommy, kids. Look at her too, shooting her. Got her. There's a good shot of the Acropolis, the Parthenon. If you like that, you definitely have to get to Nashville, where there's a life-size replica of that Parthenon in its completed state. And look at this beautiful purple bus here. Nice tourist bus.
It opened its gate. Seated in the front, in marble, the man on the right is Socrates, and the man on the left is Plato. The two great philosophers. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle is the holy trinity of philosophy, if I can use that term. Modern philosophy. Ends at the age of 15, so you have to go to school for these years, and then if you want to 3 more years, that's what most of the Greek got exams to enter the state universities. And education is free of charge, of course.
This is one of the amphitheaters. We're on top of the mountain now. We're in the vicinity of the Parthenon, and this is the amphitheater.
They were roughly, the average is about 75 kilos, which is thin.
160. And were they tall?
No. My size. 170, 165. 165 was the average.
Talking about the marathoners,
Man of the classical.
warriors carried half their body weight in armor.
I will claims that he scattered all over the world. So he fell in love with Metis, the daughter of the ocean. Can you see the coast? Far away at the distance, light blue. And he spent some time with her, of course, and then discovered that there was an oracle about her, that the child he would give birth to would become more intelligent than he was. Panic. Zeus is afraid he's going to lose his power and territory. So he has to get rid of her, but he cannot kill her because he's setting the example for the rest of the world, right? So he makes her tiny and eats her in one gulp without biting her. So she ends up alive and pregnant in his belly. And 9 months later on, Zeus woke up with a terrible headache, asked the help of Hephaestus, Vulcan, the god of fire. He grabbed his double-edged axe and cracked the skull of Zeus in half, and from the open skull sprang a full-grown woman in her military equipment, goddess Athena, from the brain of her father. So she's more intelligent than he is, but she's a woman. And the ancient world, I'm afraid for the ladies in the group, is a male world, a strictly male world. So correct. So Athena is the brightest of all right? And she fights for this city. She wants this city very, very much. There is another god that is in the competition, and his name is Poseidon. You call him Neptune, the god of the sea. So they fight about who will take over Athens. Athena gives the Athenians the olive trees that you see everywhere around you. All these cute little trees are all limestone. Greece is 75% limestone and marble. And also, as you probably know, horses hate sailing. So how am I going to export them? No way. So the Athenians chose the olive tree because you can export olive oil all over the world. It never goes bad, no matter how try to destroy it, all right? And we sail all over the world, right? We're sailors. So we built a second temple on the Acropolis in his honor called the Erechtheum. These are the 2 classical buildings we will study on the Acropolis, all right? So now we know the mythology. Let's remember the history. 1,500, Agamemnon, Achilles, Odysseus, we have kings. So these kings have to stay in the best place, Acropolis. So every Acropolis has a palace in the Bronze Era for the king. We live around and we pack up our valuables and rush inside in case of emergency. But then you remember we don't like kings that long. They don't last long in this territory. So they decay and start to be afraid of too many people, crowds. Because the agora is the meeting place for the men. And you use the word acro for Acropolis when you say acrophobia, right? Being afraid of heights.
Yep.
Acronym, the first and the last letter of the word. And acrobat, the one that's on the edge always, all right? So the agora is the meeting place. So we women stay at home. I finished. That's my lecture about women in classical Athens. Men have a wonderful time. They go into the agora where they do their shopping. Women don't shop in the ancient times, they don't have money. The money with public buildings, it's the city center and the heartbeat of Athens. Because it's political, financial, and administrative, all right? Well, the Acropolis, when you say Athens, you say Acropolis, logically. But the Acropolis is the religious center, all right? It's not political, at least in the way we conceive politics nowadays. So the men are down there, they're having a great time, all right? And then once per week, the trumpeter lets them know it's time to go and vote. So you all have to march from the agora to the rock opposite me. Can you see there is a rock there with beautiful trees? Yep. So there is an open theater there. We sit down, men sit down. The voting center, the density of the city, that's what it means. But you'll tell me, Elena, I don't get it. I'm a wealthy aristocrat. I have all the time in my hands to do all these fancy things. The gentleman on the left is a very, very intelligent merchant. He has a lot of money too. He can go around Athens and talk about it. Is the army of Athens, right? You remember Marathon battle. So the people that fight are the people that vote. So they're the ones sitting down out there. Every man has 6 minutes to express his own opinion about what the politician is suggesting, and then we have an actual vote where we do a little bit of a push, all right? So the agora, the Pnyx, the voting center, and look how beautiful Piraeus and the cargo ships look from a distance. Can you see the island of Salamis very, very clearly? All right. He knew where to stand and where to preach Christianity in Athens. He failed dramatically, of course, because they thought he was crazy preaching Christianity in Athens, the city of philosophy and paganism, but he was able to convert roughly 15 people, we think. And then that's why they have the tiny wing. Have you noticed that you have a tiny wing on your Spirit's gear? Because Nike is a beautiful young girl with beautiful wings on her back. Ask you to enter the art gallery first, relax in the sofas provided for you, the beautiful reclining sofas the ancient Greeks had. Drink your wine to refresh yourselves. To stop moaning and nagging because the sailing was difficult to Athens and because you're exhausted climbing on the Acropolis. And the moment you're relaxed, you've enjoyed the art, you're tipsy too, we want you to be tipsy. Because when you're tipsy, God is more impressive. Prague. So traveling to the monastery is your psychological preparation for the presence of God. Okay, ready to continue a little bit further?
There is a lot of oxidation of the marble. So now they have to find something, or they're trying to find something to hold up the marble.
Yeah, because it is deteriorating rapidly. That's all the pollution we have in the earth. In 1970, I was here on a tour from Germany, from Berlin. The Military Education Tourist Bureau was $99 per person, 4 nights in a nice downtown Athens hotel, all the meals, round-trip flight, $99 per person. That was the economics of 1970. Sun is going down behind me here. They built this temple during the battle with the Spartans, we heard, with women pillars all around it, very ornate, into the Ionic period. Sort of ironic that it was Ionic. Well, we are going to Cap Sounion. That's where we're at with this bus trip from the boat. Beautiful area on the ocean. We're at a stop here, rest stop, and there is over the roof line the columns of Poseidon's temple. Good one? Nice one?
I hope so.
This was a marker for the boats sailing around the Horn here, sort of like a lighthouse. It's a temple dedicated to the gods of the sea. Across the street was one for Athena and Poseidon, her father. And this is the archaeological site of Sounion. €4 I didn't get a ticket.
Oh, then go for it, dear.
I didn't get a ticket yet.
No, I had it in my hand.
Because you
Thank
are
you.
not watching out.
I'm teasing. Okay, now I have my ticket, and I'm doing a spot. See if we can get the lights are flashing every 5 seconds or so, sending a signal to my fans that everything is okay in Greece, even though we're not on our trip. The cruise is cancelled.
Communists went there, so it brings bad memories, somehow. I don't know what they're going to do with the island, but hopefully one day they'll make it a happy island, but it's a deserted island at the moment. Now, where the buses of the silver mines, and where slaves, actually worked in the silver mines. Athenian democracy. About 3 hours sail, a beautiful bronze statue of Poseidon. You must have seen it on postcards at the bottom of the sea. They think that the statue came from here. A lot of the statues went to Rome or Constantinople, when the Romans came. The ships were overloaded, and that's why they sank. They're at the bottom of the sea, most of the bronze statues. He was found by accident. Hello? Εγώ... Ναι, κάνω Sounion. And the little temple below the Acropolis in the ancient Agora has the same characteristic as this temple, so they think it's the same architect that made both.
And around the same period of time.
Same, but this particular architect, he gave the Doric a very elegant, much more elegant style, than the.
Taking me, and I'm taking her.
Down to Crete. Maybe that was a kind of taxation that the Athenians had to pay to the Minoans. So when they sailed away, these youngsters were not supposed to come back. So the sails were black, apparently. So the king of...
Well, here's a nice graphic of this archaeological site of Sounion with the Greek and English, and a top view of what the temple looked like. What did you say? There was 12 gods in the Olympian religion?
Well, this one is for Athena and Poseidon.
Where do you see Athena?
Well, the other fort is Athena down there.
No, I mean, do you see where? I think it was down one of these. That might have been Athena's site. Well, here is a Holland-American line going by our balcony on the Regent. This is the Noordam, Holland-American. And what did you find out today, Volker, just now about our flight?
As much as I know. And we're leaving tomorrow morning around a little before 5 here. Looks like our flight is at 8 something, and it's British Air. Do not know where British Air goes, but eventually I think we end up in Atlanta.
What do you think? That's a big ship. That is a very big ship going by.
They only have about 1,500.
Oh, looks huge. It looks
Not
like
as big as a Norwegian one. Or the Princess. The Princess was the biggest.
that is the Noordam. Big ship.
In the meantime, we have